So I just finished Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, and unlike...
Woohoo! Where's Mommy? Woohoo! Oh, yeah! Where's your mommy? Ow! 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 Ow!
Hello there guys, Billybo10K here, bringing you episode 3 of my new weekly show, So I Just Finished. The show where I finish a game each week and share my experiences with you guys, creating a handy dandy guide / review that just turns into me saying low-key, basically, and starting all of my sentences with so or however. Before we get into today's episode though, I want to give a massive thank you to everyone who tuned into last week's episode on Hyper Light Drifter, which you can find up in the top right corner there. It hasn't done very well, admittedly. It didn't reach 1,000 views as of scripting this video, and it's been out for almost a week now. It hasn't done as well as Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but my only assumption is that it's not a first-party Nintendo title, so maybe people weren't necessarily interested in it. That being said, the positivity in the comments in that video was so motivating, it really was, and I'm so grateful to everyone who did tune in and who enjoyed that video, because I put a lot of work into it. And hopefully this one won't be as long, so fingers crossed. And just a quick little reminder before we get started with today's video that likes don't cost any money. So if you are interested and you enjoy this series, please consider leaving a like on this video, because if we can get to 50 likes, that's a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 likes, I would be so happy. It would be so nice to kind of reach that goal. I think we can do it. I really think we can. Let's see if we can make it to 50 likes. So let's get into today's video, where we're going to be talking about a game that got its original release in 2014, but finally, on the Nintendo Switch and 3DS, got the re-release it deserved, damn it. Today, we are going to be talking about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Nintendo Switch, also on 3DS and Wii U. So, without further ado, let us begin. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is an action puzzle game developed by Nintendo, first released on the Wii U in 2014, with the gameplay focusing on small isometric dioramas that you could rotate in order to solve puzzles, collect treasure, and complete each level. Originally, the game wanted to create their own Captain Toad game during early development, but instead, a few levels were implemented into 3D World. Long story short, people loved the extra Captain Toad levels in 3D World, and Shigeru Miyamoto suggested the team create a full-on Captain Toad experience, leading to the game we'll be playing today. The game was released to positive reviews and became a definite must-buy for any Wii U owners, and as for myself, I bought the game day one. Whether it was the bright colors or the idea that every level was a little puzzle I could solve, I absolutely adored the idea of Captain Toad, to the point where I did a full Let's Play here on the channel, which I'll link in the card in the top right corner. Though the last episode or two got corrupted during filming and never actually released, please be aware. Though, just to give you an idea of how old these videos are, here's a snippet of Fetus Billy. Hello there everybody, Billybo10K bringing you Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. There are some coins out here in the ocean that you can actually get if you really need to get them. Now, while Captain Toad was a stunning spin-off of the Mario series and a great puzzle game to boot, we can't ignore the tragedy that it did release on the Wii U, a console that was doomed from the start. Luckily, Nintendo surprised everyone by announcing the game's re-release in the Direct on March 2018. The game now had a second chance on the Nintendo Switch.
And the 3DS as well, but who really cares about that version?
Ultimately outselling the Wii U version as of the scripting of this video, so that's pretty cool. So why am I revisiting this game then? Well, I really want a sequel, damn it! And if I can convince you guys to give this game another go on the Switch, then that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Captain Toad has untapped potential, and with some exclusive Mario Odyssey levels on the Switch version, it's time to dive in and see if this game is worth the purchase, or for some of you, the repurchase. So, let's do this. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a spin-off game for the Mario series that takes place before the events of Super Mario 3D World if you're playing the Wii U version, or Super Mario Odyssey if you're playing the Switch and 3DS versions. You are Captain Toad, the leader of the Toad Brigade, who made his first appearance in Mario Galaxy, helping Mario on his journey to defeat Bowser and restore the universe to its proper state, and this time he's actually wearing a shirt. This little Toad has come a long way, gaining a cult following of fans, and even getting a cameo on the New Donk City stage in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Captain Toad has certainly made the waves with Nintendo and the fans. And the adventures of Captain Toad, Toadette, and the Toad Brigade were then split into 3 campaigns in this game, known as episodes. Episodes 1 and 2 are 18 levels long, while Episode 3 is a little lengthier at 28 levels, and in each episode you play as a different character. Episode 1 features Captain Toad, Episode 2 is all about Toadette, while in Episode 3 you switch between the pair as they're both on their own adventures with the goal of meeting up at the end. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's start with the very basic plot setup. Captain Toad and Toadette are exploring a little grassy ruin, and there's a little power star sitting on the very top. These power stars are the treasure they covet above all else, though they serve absolutely no significance to the story aside from being the main collectible. Perhaps these are the power stars that Toadette keeps giving us in Super Mario Odyssey, who knows. Once the pair collect the power star, feathers fall from the sky, and large talons appear, latching onto the power star, revealing the main antagonist of the game, a massive bird with magical abilities known as Wingo. This creature is wanted throughout the world due to its tendency to steal anything and everything that is gold and shiny. Coins, goblets, crowns, the Oscar for Best Picture that Infinity War tragically isn't getting, Pink Gold Peach, you name it, Wingo's probably stolen it. However, while taking the Power Star, Toadette continues to cling on in a vain attempt to keep Wingo from stealing their treasure. This goes about as well as you expect, and Captain Toad is left to watch as Wingo flies away with his girl in tow, and thus begins the events of Episode 1. Episode 2's opening is almost a carbon copy of the first opening, with Captain Toad being kidnapped instead of Toadette, while Episode 3's opening is a little more dramatic, with Captain Toad being blasted into the void at the end of Episode 2, with Episode 3 picking up straight after. Really though, what this game is trying to tell you is quite simple. The story does not matter. We're not going for Best Narrative at the Game Awards with this one. Just accept the story for what it is, and you'll have an enjoyable puzzle experience. That being said, I don't give a damn if the game doesn't want me to dissect the story, because I have some issues, damn it! Firstly, the whole setup is Captain Toad trying to save Toadette. How does he do this? By exploring every single location he comes across from top to bottom, multiple times, finding all the treasure along the way instead of, you know, saving Toadette. I don't see how those super gems are gonna help you save your girl, Toad. Do you really need that many power stars? You're literally robbing somebody's house. What the fuck, Toad? And it's not just you. Toadette has the exact same issue during her campaign. You're both sociopaths. It's the only reasonable explanation for the way you're all acting. If you really wanted to save Toadette, you'd get in your Toad ship from Mario Galaxy and fly off to Wingo. You wouldn't take 17 different detours to random worlds that really don't want you there because you just destroy the habitat and wildlife of everywhere you go. So, you've just started Captain Toad, and you want to know how to play the game, huh? Well, you can move yourself and the camera around with the analog sticks, the left Joy-Con being for movement, the right Joy-Con being for camera. You can press B to pick up sprouts and interact with objects, and... well, that's it. Seriously, this game has the easiest control scheme since Pong, and boy does it feel relaxing. Now, you'll be traveling to many different locations on your adventure. Grassy plains, ancient ruins, a bullet bill military base, an LSD trip, underwater levels, not that underwater level, and more in your quest to hoard everything in the world for yourself. Levels are small and compact diorama structures that you can explore to your heart's content. You can use the camera to adjust your direction, thus allowing you to see areas with a new perspective, and this feature makes up a large portion of the gameplay. You will constantly be rotating the map, zooming in and out, trying to find out what works best for you in order to continue progressing through each level, discovering hidden nooks and crannies where collectibles could be hiding. Unlike Super Mario 3D World, none of the levels are timed, meaning that you are free to take your time, explore everything you can, and collect everything you come across. You'll be solving a variety of puzzles, flicking switches, rotating parts of the level, getting past enemies, tapping glowing areas in a level to move them, using power-ups, riding minecarts. There's a lot of variety to the level designs, and given Toad has such a limited moveset, being moving, jumping, and interacting with Sprouts, it is impressive just how much the team at Nintendo was able to expand upon this. Now, your main goal in each level is simply to reach the star at the end, but if this were the only objective, this would be a very easy game to complete. You can get to the star by following the main path, solving a level's puzzles, and progressing forwards, but if you choose to just go for the star, you'll find your pathway will be blocked eventually as you progress through the story. As the further you get into the story, the more levels you'll find locked away, and the only way to open these levels is to collect the other main collectible of the game, Super Gems. In every level of the game, there are 3 Super Gems to collect, and these collectibles, as mentioned before, will unlock later levels in the story, as well as all the bonus levels in the post-game. During a first playthrough of a level, you should make collecting these gems a priority. Find out where they are in the level, figure out what needs to be done to collect them, then go for it and collect them. Super Gems can be hidden in secret caves, you might need to uproot a Sprout or an enemy, sometimes you'll need to throw a turnip or an enemy at a gem floating in the sky, or you'll need to unlock a door with a key found somewhere else in the level. There's more variety than this, of course, but those are just the basic objectives you'll find associated with these Super Gems. Now, you don't need to collect all the Super Gems in one life in order to collect them all. If you collect 2 Super Gems, but die before getting the 3rd, you'll respawn at the start of the level, but you'll still have the 2 Super Gems you collected in your past life. This makes collecting these items less tedious than they otherwise could have been, but keep in mind that you still need to complete the level before the gems are permanently added to your collection. If you collect a gem, then leave the level prior to getting the Power Star, the gem won't count your collection. Aside from gems, once you complete a level for the first time, you will unlock a level's secret bonus objective, which can be seen in the bottom left of the level select page. These secret objectives need to be completed to achieve a 100% on the level you're on, though they aren't required for progressing the story, although they are required for a very optional challenge at the very end of the game. These optional challenges might ask you to find a hidden gold mushroom in a level, collect a certain amount of coins before reaching the star, try to not take any damage, or my personal favorites, try not to be seen by any of the Shy Guys. The Shy Guy levels are very much Metal Gear Solid levels with a Captain Toad paint job. For example, in this level, you have to break into the house of these lovely Shy Guys and steal their star without alerting them to your presence. Yes, Captain Toad is breaking into the house of these Shy Guys, who have done nothing wrong, and stealing their savings, and their star. Of course, if you're seen, you can still complete the level, but you lose out on the optional objective. A common theme with these objectives is that they make you think about how to complete a level in a way that subverts how you played it the first time to get the Power Star, and that's always exciting to me, as it means you're effectively solving a new puzzle when you return to the level. However, there are times where you might fail an objective, such as don't take damage and you want to restart the level. The annoying thing with Captain Toad is that the game doesn't have a restart button. The only way to restart the level is either to kill yourself or leave the course and rejoin from the menu, and if you don't like losing lives or you're going for a no-death run, this is not an ideal scenario, and going back to the menu is time-consuming. Why they couldn't have implemented a restart button is absolutely beyond me, as it would make some of the levels in this game way more bearable as a result. That being said, there are quite a few levels in the game where you often cannot complete the optional objective and collect all the super gems. Maybe due to a limit placed upon you to complete the optional objective? You'll find this is most often the case in levels where you have to move blocks around, as the optional objective will often be get to the finish in 4 touches, but if you want all the gems, you need to use more than 4 touches, and this is why I recommend getting all of your super gems on your first playthrough of the level. Aside from super gems though, what else is there in these levels that you can collect? Well, the main secondary collectible are coins, which work as they do in any Mario game. Collect 100 and you get an extra life, but aside from some levels, which require you to collect a certain amount of coins, the collectible is about as meaningless as the coins from New Super Mario Bros. 2. Though clearly Toad is just practicing to become the new Scrooge McDuck and he's gonna dive into that pool of money at the end of the game. You also have mushrooms of the red and green variety. Red mushrooms will appear in most levels, either from a Sprout or from Blue Toad, who can be found in quite a few of the game's levels. Green mushrooms, however, are much rarer, only found in specific levels, and give you a 1-up if you collect them. Now, red mushrooms work exactly as they would in a normal Mario game, as something I haven't revealed yet is Captain Toad's weakness is being touched. Yes, if anything so much as brushes against Captain Toad or Toadette, they will be shrunk down to tinier, much more adorable versions of themselves, just like Mario in any of the 2D platformers, and naturally it leaves them asking one simple question.
Somebody tell me how I got so small!
Questions that Nintendo will sadly never answer. What we do know, though, is that if Toad or Toadette eats a red mushroom while tiny, they will restore themselves to their original form, and if you collect a red mushroom while normal-sized, you get 10 coins, which can be useful for certain levels where coin collection is the optional objective. Though I do have to question how their backpacks also shrink down along with them. Does that mean all their treasure shrinks down as well? Does that reduce the market price for all these Power Stars they've been collecting? And while we're at it, Toad's eating mushrooms. Isn't that a little bit cannibalistic? Is Toad secretly Hannibal Lecter in disguise? Questions that need answers, sheeple! And of course, there are gold mushrooms which are hidden throughout the game, which you can collect and will give you 50 coins upon collection, often needed for bonus objectives regarding coins or, you know, finding the golden mushroom. Now, once you've completed a course once, a new mode will be unlocked that wasn't available in the base game of the Wii U version, the Pixel Toads. To unlock it in the Wii U version, you needed a Toad amiibo, but the mode is free with the Switch version, and this mode you unlock is a hide-and-seek minigame with Pixel Toad. Select a level, have Pixel Toad enter the level, and then find the Pixel Toad hidden within the level itself to win. They start off pretty easy, with you only needing to rotate the camera a bit from your starting spot to find the little guy, but the further you progress in the game, the more demanding he gets. Sometimes progressing naturally through the level will allow you to reach Pixel Toad, sometimes he'll be under a switch that can't be pressed from the start of the level, or maybe he's underneath an enemy that you need to kill first. Pixel Toad isn't that difficult to find in the long run though. You see, when you get close, you start to hear Pixel Toad screaming in Pixel, and the louder he is, the closer you are to his location. Find him, click on him, and you win! This is a completely optional endeavor though, so if hide and seek isn't your thing, no worries. My main issue with this mode comes from the overlay that appears when you're exploring though. The top and bottom of the screen gets this annoying grey overlay that just doesn't go away, and it can make the screens feel a little more squished than they have any right to be. I want to play this game in HD, not letterbox, damn it! Now, aside from collectibles, you'll also discover there are a pair of power-ups throughout the game that might prove useful to you. Firstly, and you're introduced to this in level 1, the blue pickaxe. When picked up, Toad will immediately begin swinging his pickaxe
From side to side, side to side.
You have a small window of time in which Toad can break blocks or uproot sprouts at record pace, and often this pickaxe will be tied to a collectible like a super gem in the level. Try not to pick up the pickaxe until you know where you're going to need to go with it, as if you don't break the blocks you need, you'll be locked out of collecting certain collectibles until you either die or restart the level from the main menu. Once again, a restart button, Nintendo! The other collectible is the Double Cherry. This is within a handful of levels, and if you've played 3D World, you'll know the Double Cherry creates a perfect clone of your character, which moves in tandem with the original. You'll be solving puzzles, making your way to the end of each level as you go, and some levels even have an optional objective of keeping all your clones alive until the very end, so try not to get them killed. They die in one hit from any enemy, so if you see you're in a Double Cherry level with a lot of enemies, take them out before you start cloning yourself, otherwise you'll just be feeding your enemies. And if there's one thing I've learned from Overwatch, it's that people don't like it when you feed your enemies. And well, that's actually about it for collectibles and most of the gameplay. At random points in the game, you will come across small bonus levels, with which you can collect coins and lives. Coins Galore is a great minigame for relieving stress and collecting all the coins you can, even picking up a power-up of your choice, being the Double Cherry or the Pickaxe. I always like to go Double Cherry myself. But the real interesting bonus levels are the Mummy Me mazes. In these bonus minigames, you must run through a randomly generated floor while shadow clones chase you down. You'll encounter enemies, coins, one-ups, and teleports to the next floor as you go. But the premise is quite simple. Don't stop running. Because those Shadow Toads are chasing you down and we don't know what they want, but what we do know is that they want to know, why are you running? Don't answer them, just book it, because you'll need to get good at these mazes if you want to beat the hardest challenge in the post-game. But we'll get to that later. Now, before we get to the post-game content, there are a few small mini-levels in the main story that you might come across, very brief gameplay segments that are just set up for a cutscene, or in the case of cutscenes after episode 2 and 3's Dragon boss level, set up for you riding a poor, helpless dragon across the war-torn lava fields of Pyropuff Peak, because these sociopaths like to beat up the local wildlife as well. This game is sponsored by PETA, goddammit. These small gameplay segments are just there to add a bit of fluff to the gameplay, and, you know, that's all for fun. There are also a handful of boss battles, as I alluded to a few moments ago, but they're not much to really talk about. There's one Dragodon stage in every episode, and this poor dragon just wants you to get the fuck out of its volcano. It's not a bad dragon, it's just being abused by these toads 3 damn times. And then the final level of each episode is also a boss stage, though while Captain Toad will always end his final stage with an actual boss against Wingo, Toadette's boss stage is an intense enemy gauntlet, and she doesn't get to show Wingo who's boss. What are you trying to say, Nintendo? You trying to say girls can't hack it? Cause that ain't cool. That ain't cool, Nintendo. The bosses aren't anything to write home about either, with Wingo's boss battle following the standard rule of 3 that Mario games love. While Dragodon will change his levels layout with different gimmicks each time you fight, I definitely prefer the Dragodon levels to the Wingo levels. They feel more cohesive and just better overall. You can check them out for yourself and see if you enjoy them, though I do personally wish this game had a few more boss stages, because I did find these stages to be very enjoyable, and I would have liked to maybe see a Piranha Plant style boss, or just other Mario enemies instead of a dragon and a bird. So that's the main game summed up pretty damn well, but that's not where the adventure for Captain Toad ends, because on top of the main game, you've got the post-game, filled with many optional challenges for your characters to face. And it's pretty cool how much extra content you get at the end of the day. Firstly, you get the Super Mario Odyssey levels, or the 3D World levels if you're playing on the Wii U. Both versions have some pretty cool exclusive levels, and I kinda wish the 3D World levels didn't just get replaced by the Odyssey content. It baffles me that they'd remove good levels from the game, but at least we get to explore the Sand Kingdom again! Yay! I like the Sand Kingdom if you couldn't tell. So, 4 kingdoms from Odyssey have stages. The Sand Kingdom with Tostarena, the Cascade Kingdom with Fossil Falls, the Metro Kingdom with New Donk City, and the Luncheon Kingdom with Mount Volbono. The Sand and Metro Kingdoms are classic Captain Toad stages, taking you across all the different locations from these kingdoms in Odyssey, including the underground sewers in New Donk and the inverted pyramid in Tostarena. These are some of the funnest levels in the game, and I absolutely love how they really conveyed the actual Odyssey level design, with little touches like the Sand Kingdom turning to night, or turning on New Donk's power generator. The Cascade Kingdom is a minecart level and is pretty enjoyable and fun. You get to see the scenery in a whole new way, and while it's not the most difficult level, it's a ride you're sure to remember. Plus, you get to listen to the Cascade Kingdom theme, and nobody can complain about the Cascade Kingdom theme. Lastly, Luncheon Kingdom is a running style level. You'll have come across these levels here and there in the main game, but the gimmick is that you need to use the double cherries to access the level's gems by using P-switches on different tracks. It's a lot of fun, but of the 4 levels, it's kind of the least entertaining for me. Aside from these levels, you also have a variety of smaller levels that open up as well. Firstly, you've got more Mummy Me levels, where you take on a previously completed course, but you've got a little Shadow Toad chasing after you the whole time. These levels can be stressful, and the optional objectives that ask you to collect a lot of coins can make these levels extremely difficult, so keep that in mind and keep your head up. Though it certainly makes the Dragodon fight more tense. You also have Toad Brigade levels, where you go through various completed courses, but the aim is to find each member of the Toad Brigade and lead them as a group to the star at the end of the level. The challenge comes from how the Toads follow Captain Toad like a leader, and if one of them is damaged by an enemy, you instantly lose. Captain Toad can take a hit himself though, but his friends are very fragile. It offers a more unique challenge that makes you think about how to progress, as opposed to just running in like an absolute madman. Each level also has a hidden golden mushroom, which you'll probably need to complete the objectives, as the bonus objectives for these levels are coin collection based. Lastly, you can replay the prologue for each of the 3 episodes, as each level has a hidden golden mushroom, which you need to find to officially complete those levels. It's worth noting that there are no Pixel Toad missions for the bonus content either, so no more hide and seek. Now, if you complete all of the bonus stages, collect all of the in-game gems, and beat every bonus objective from every level, you will unlock the 50-floor Mummy Me Endless Maze. It is the standard Mummy Me minigame, but 50 floors, the enemies constantly change, and it's not actually endless despite what the name says. But beating it will score you an awesome crown that you can wear in any level from now on, and is the final challenge of the game. Now, I didn't do it. Being completely real, getting all the coin bonus objectives and the bonus levels just wasn't for me. It was a little bit too tedious for my liking, but I finished everything else, so I'm pretty damn happy with my playthrough of this game. So before we get to the tips and tricks and the final score, I do want to say a quick word about the presentation of this game. It's not as important of a focus because, look, it's a first-party Nintendo title. Were you expecting anything less than stellar? But I just wanted to say that this game still looks absolutely gorgeous and reminds me that we really need a 3D World port on the Nintendo Switch, because most of the assets come from that game after all. The soundtrack is brilliant as always, but special mention goes to the train levels and their specific music track, which, weirdly enough, for me, gives Legend of Zelda vibes when I listen to it, and I'm not actually sure why. It's not like it follows Spirit Tracks OST, so it's not like a train relation, but the overall sound is just giving me Zelda, even though I know the music is Mario-focused. So anyway, with that out of the way, here are a few tips, tricks, and other things you may want to know before picking this game up. Golden mushrooms are invisible until you get close to them, usually hidden in random nooks and crannies that seemingly have no purpose. Just look around until you see that glow. If you see pipes in a level, definitely explore them. Sometimes they take you to places you've never dreamed of. If a level has a spin wheel, make sure to check the level layout every time you rotate 90 degrees to ensure you don't miss any secrets. In the stage Fright Train Flight, keep the charging chuck alive until the 3rd train cart so you can collect the final power gem. You also need the charging chuck to kill the mudmen for the optional objective. In the same level, don't pull the switches that release the train carts, as you may need to go back in case you missed a mudman and it doesn't serve a purpose to the level. Also on the same level, you can use these birds to crush the mudmen to death. Once you beat a full episode of the story, all the levels within that episode will gain a time attack target. Complete all the levels in the time attack target time for some nice little stars on your episode book. though this is entirely optional and does not affect anything else in the game. In the level Color Crate Carousel, it's completely possible to grab the star in the first 2 seconds and move on, but you'll miss out on all the collectibles. In the level No Sleep at Kamek Keep, get to the top and kill the Kameks first before doing any exploring. You will thank me later. If you're low on lives and you need some quick help, scan some amiibos. They always give you an extra life in my experience. During challenges that require you to not be seen by Shy Guys, keep in mind that being seen means the jumping animation where the Shy Guy notices you. You can still kill the Shy Guys as long as they don't notice you until you've dealt the killing blow. Try to take out enemies in double cherry levels before picking up double cherries to make life a little bit easier. You can zoom in closer to your character with the X button and can cycle through close, semi-close, and far angles. When searching for Pixel Toad in minecart levels, be aware that he will always be at the beginning or end of the level, as you can only click for him when not in a minecart. And lastly, remember to have fun and enslave innocent Dragodons when you pass them by. Giddy up, bitch! So, at the end of the day, is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker worth playing in the end? Well, for puzzle fans, I think it is one of Nintendo's finest games you can play. It is an ageless game that can challenge anyone, whether you're a young child or you're a die-hard older Nintendo fan. It is perfect for literally any age. It is a staple of Nintendo games, of course, to be ageless, because that's kind of the whole gimmick of their target audience. They're games made for the whole family, and Captain Toad fits into that brand perfectly and just works, man. If you've never played this game before, I would recommend it so hard. I think it's a brilliant game, and on the Nintendo Switch, it works really well in handheld mode, because it's a portable game and each level only lasts about maybe 1 to 2 minutes if you're looking for all the collectibles, so you can get through a lot of these levels really quickly in just maybe a 5-minute sitting, and you'd be able to kind of just do what you want on the train or on a bus or skydiving from a building. That's not how skydiving works, but you know, the Nintendo Switch, you can play it anywhere and you can play Captain Toad anywhere, and the same goes for the 3DS version. The 3DS version, from what I've heard, works exactly the same as the Nintendo Switch version, it's just got slightly downgraded visuals. That being said, it is perfect as a portable game, and you can buy it on either console and feel good doing so. However, is it worth a repurchase if you bought this game for the Wii U like I have over there? If I'm being completely honest, I don't think it is. Personally, because all you're getting if you're repurchasing the game is the Pixel Toad levels, assuming you didn't buy a Toad amiibo back in 2014, and you're getting 4 Mario Odyssey levels, which replace the 3D World levels you can get in this version. Arguably a bad trade-off, because the 3D World levels were actually really fun. You got to go through an entire remake of the first level of 3D World, which is larger in scope than any of the Odyssey levels, in my humble opinion, even if the Odyssey worlds are a bit more well designed in terms of being puzzles. I just don't think you're getting enough bang for your buck for a repurchase to justify a full price repurchase. That being said, if you want to buy this game on sale, maybe you want to go onto the eShop and use some saved up coins to get a discount, or maybe you want to see if you can find it for cheap on eBay, Amazon, or at your local game store, that is also a valid and perfectly acceptable option. I do think more people should be buying this game though, and if you have never played this game before, it is perfect for you. And as I said, if you really want to play this game, and you've played it before, and you're getting those cravings, but you don't want to bust out your Wii U, get it on sale. Just get it on sale. It's worth your time. It is still a brilliant game. So with that in mind, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker gets a gold star. It is a solid game and a personal favorite of mine from the Wii U era. It is a brilliant game with a lovely soundtrack. The graphical update just makes it look so much better than it did on the Wii U version. The colors pop, the game looks beautiful, and it just reminds everyone that a 3D World port would be amazing. Can we have that, please, Nintendo? However, it's not going to be getting a platinum star because it is a case of, similar to Hyper Light Drifter last week, the repurchase isn't really worth it at this point in time, and I feel like there are a few quality of life improvements that they could have made that they missed out on that I feel kind of cheapens the experience a bit. The fact that there isn't a single restart level option, despite the fact this is a puzzle game and that is a staple of most puzzle games in the genre, just shocks me. It really does. Especially if you mess up in a level with a power-up and you can't get a gem and you maybe miss with a turnip and you have no turnips to get one of the floating gems, and it's just... There are so many reasons why you might want a restart level button, and it's just a shame that they force you to kill yourself in order to restart the level. Not sending a good message to kids, Nintendo. And as I mentioned before, the worlds of 3D World I feel were just a little bit more interesting than the Odyssey worlds. Even if the Odyssey worlds were more well designed, I would have liked to have seen both sets of worlds on this game instead of just the 3D World ones being on the Wii U and the Odyssey ones being on the Switch. There was no reason to scrap those 4 worlds, and it makes me a little bit sad, that's all. But honestly, I just want to see what the future holds for this franchise, because I hope it becomes a franchise, because I would love to see a Captain Toad 2, or a Captain Toad 3, and can we just like go with Mega Man, Captain Toad 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, yeah, you get the picture. I would love more Captain Toad. I think it is a brilliant idea, it's a brilliant design. I really think the Nintendo team have struck an innovative idea that isn't cringe-inducing, and I really want to see more of it. So, with Captain Toad done, you guys may be wondering what next week's game is gonna be. I was originally planning on doing the Resident Evil 2 2019 remake, because that's a game that's coming out, I know I'm gonna be playing it, and you know, getting the video out close to the release date is probably a good idea, but I have decided I'm not gonna do it next week, I'm gonna do it the week after, because I want to make sure I have ample time to play with this game, and that I am able to capture all the footage I want, understand all the nuances, make sure that if there's any secrets that are discovered, that I can include those in my tips and tricks in that video, and I don't want to just kind of prematurely make this video not knowing everything about the game so far. So, I'm going to be doing Resident Evil 2 in 2 weeks, but next week, I've decided to pick up a game that is a little bit more of an old classic. Because we've played 3 very modern games recently, and I want to go back and play the first ever Legend of Zelda game that I experienced. A game that I have Let's Played on this channel before. I'm going to be playing The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. I'll see you guys next week. Hey there guys, Billybo10K here, talking to you guys at the end of the video. I'm filming this after I've finished editing the rest of the video. It's what I do at the end of all these videos. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has watched through the entire video, who has enjoyed the content. This was a really fun game actually to cover because it was me revisiting an old classic from 2014 that I really loved. And it kind of felt like I was coming full circle because I never finished the Let's Play I did of this game, and I always felt bad about that, so maybe giving it this lovely review, giving it the gold star, and just, you know, letting it shine is a better way of ending my little chapter with Captain Toad. Really hoping for a sequel. I don't know if we're ever gonna get a sequel to this game, but oh, it's so good, and I would highly recommend you guys go and check it out. I want to give a massive shout out to my patrons and everyone else who has supported the channel so far. I'm genuinely surprised that I'm 3 episodes into this and I'm still going strong and I haven't missed a release date yet. I've had to get all these videos up on the Sunday and I've done it pretty well, and next week shouldn't be much of an issue, seeing as Link's Awakening is a very easy game to record. I'm tempted to use the footage from my Let's Play because it's already high quality and maybe just play through the game on my own time. I'm not too sure, we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more fun videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.